Well, we always know the statement 40 acres and a mule. They said we was promised this after slavery. Well, there were some people that actually got some of their land and actually got their mule. It wasn't very long, but I want you to hear the history of this and why all of Black America at that time period did not get their 40 acres and a mule.
So a lot of folks have heard this phrase, right? 40 acres and a mule. As you say, a lot of people thought, okay, this just never happened. And your reporting is called 40 acres and a lie. What's the truth behind this program? What do people not know?
What people don't know is that it wasn't just a promise that was broken. People were received land titles. We found more than 1,250 people who got land titles, men and women. They picked out their plots of land, mostly on the plantations where they were enslaved. Actually, not everyone got 40 acres, which is another misconception. It was up to 40 acres. And then people were living there. They were planting their crops. They were selling them in Savannah. Some of them formed governments. They elected a sheriff. They were living their lives, and they lived there for like up to a year and a half before they were kicked off.
How did they get kicked off the land that the government gave them?
Basically, because Lincoln was assassinated. I mean, they had promised this land. They gave land titles. The government said, this is yours. You deserve it. You're going to keep it. But Congress needed to make those titles permanent. They had a majority in Congress who were willing to do it. But Andrew Johnson, he was the vice president. He was a white supremacist. He sided with the planters who wanted their land back, and he vetoed every effort to make those land titles permanent.
You did a little more research to talk about the value of the land. This is an important part of your reporting here. 1 4-acre lot that you identified in Jacksonville, Florida, based on a sale last year, that it would, today, 40 acres would be worth $2.5 million there. It's not just the land that was lost here in your reporting. Tell me about what else you found.
Yeah, well, just that generational wealth that wasn't passed on. You know, this 40 acres land was all the coast. It's like expensive coastal real estate. We found gated communities, golf courses, and restaurants, incredibly valuable lands. This is wealth that was not passed on, and that's kind of what we're trying to show is the impact. This is not a history lesson only. It's the impact on people who are alive today.
So as you heard, President Lincoln was enacting that plan to give Black people their land and give Black people their just due, which that's what we needed. And as you heard, they say that all that stopped when Lincoln was assassinated. Now they say Congress, which was a Republican-led Congress, was willing to do it, but you had a white supremacist in the vice president that did not want to do that, right? Because he did not want Black people to have their just due. He didn't want Black people to be self-sufficient on their own. And for these white supremacists that don't like the term white supremacist, that's what you said you were. That's what you are aspiring to be, to have white supremacy. But then when you bring them their word, a lot of times they don't want to hear that coming from you. Now, when we talk about we are the only group in America that has been sabotaged in this manner, that's exactly what it is. Even after Lincoln was assassinated, Black people set up many towns, many communities, etc. in this country, and time after time after time after time after time, white supremacists have come in and ransacked the place, burned the place down, buried it under water, like, you know, where Lake Lanier is at today. There was a whole black town. These are the things that has happened to Black Americans. And then those people, their descendants today say, why you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps? When you tell them, hey, this is what your ancestors done and got us in the position that we're in. Oh, well, so long ago. No, it was not long ago. It was not long ago at all. Black America, in the position that we're in today, I told you and I will tell you, it is not a natural position. No group of people will be in our position naturally, because people with time eventually going to wise up and wake up and do good for themselves. This is why, and we got to keep fighting for reparations. We have to. We owe it to our ancestors because what was stolen from them. Listen what she said about that real estate that was out there in Florida. Listen to that was basically Black people's land and just prime real estate. So when I say that everything they got, they stole from Black people, that's what I mean. When I say they didn't do nothing on their own, this is what I mean. See, they even have to admit this. And you know, they don't never like to go down that road of really exposing their history. They don't like to do that because when you start exposing their history, it gives more of a case for reparations for Black men and women in this country of the descent of slaves. Completely. That's why we got to keep talking about reparations and keep bringing up the history and say, hey, you need to pay what you owe. The reason why I don't have generational wealth is because it was stolen from my family by white supremacy. It's not that my family was lazy and all of that. No, it was completely stolen from them, stolen from me, stolen from you, right? That's the position that we're in. We have no choice but to fight for reparations at this point. We have no choice. Look at all the wealth these people have. That's not natural for them to have that much wealth or that much of a wealth gap. It's not natural. I mean, the reason why it's not natural because they didn't do that like just working hard and doing it on their own, which I respect anybody that work hard and build on their own. But everything they have was stolen from black people, whether through slavery or even after slavery, it was stolen. It was stolen. That's why they're so far ahead, because they stole things. They're taking people's land. They're taking people's resources, and it's continued to this day. They're still doing it. It's nothing no different. When they gentrify somewhere, they're taking your area away from you. They may not be doing it like back in the day, ransacking in there, burning everything down and unaliving people and all of that. They're not doing it that way. Now they're doing it with laws and money. That's how they're doing it to you today. That's how they run you off your land today. See, they refine what they do. They haven't changed nothing they're doing. They just refined it to make sure, because, think about it. If they do something like that in this day and time, the whole world will be like, what the hell? Them people are savages. So now they do it another way where it's quiet. It doesn't show, you know what I'm saying? They craft these laws in a way to harm black Americans. That's what they craft the laws for, and to benefit them. But even though they did that, it's still catching up with them. More and more of them every day are having the same complaints that black Americans have had in this country for a very long time. For a very long time. And even on this channel, we've covered many of the folks complaining of the same things that we have said about America and what has happened in this country. Now they're dealing with the same issue and problem. And I don't have sympathy for them because when we told you about it, you didn't care. So why should we care when you suffer? No. But you see who stopped black America from getting their just due? A white supremacist. That's why we say white supremacists and white supremacy is extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Because what if black Americans got their land? What if they got their mule? What if they got it? Where would we be at today?